How's it going, guys, and welcome to another video where I'll be going over the journey of releasing my first game. We're actually not doing that because finishing projects is really hard. I meant to finish something and upload a video about it less than 2 weeks after my last upload, but I've had nothing of interest to show since then. So here's just a montage of projects that I've started in the past few months. While my last video was in production, a buddy of mine and I had just finished Halo Reach on Legendary, and then we caught a Left 4 Dead bug. I became really interested in these linear first-person shooters with co-op multiplayer. They're just so fun. Playing games cooperatively with friends is some of the most fun you can have in any video game, at least in my opinion. And it's so replayable. Look at us, playing this 20-year-old game. Freaking awesome. So, obviously, I needed to make one of these. I followed a Brackeys tutorial. Rip in peace, I will forever use these. They're just so darn good. And after this happened, like 16 times, because it was so funny the first time, I had a first-person controller that wasn't mine, but it felt great to use. The next step was some sort of shooting. I modeled a super professional, generic pistol in Blender, threw it into Unity, did some coding, created some grade A animations, and I was ready to fail art school. Is that joke allowed here? Are either of these jokes allowed here? Anyway, I had too much fun jumping around and shooting at nothing, so I turned it into a shooting gallery of sorts. There are these boxes that die after 1 to 3 shots and drop an ammo crate in this spot instead of where it died. I promise they work, I just don't have a clip. And while shooting static, helpless targets in the air was fun, I wanted to be threatened, because I enjoy the thrill. I mean, who doesn't? So, I modeled a way less professional enemy. It's a zombie of sorts. I threw it into Unity, made some crappy animations, and then I never touched the project again. I'm not even sure why. It just happened. The next project was an idea conceived while talking to one of the more deranged voices. His wording was, Call of Duty underwater. Looking back, I might be the deranged one because my response was, ooh, a first-person shooter where you play as a fish and you must keep moving to avoid lack of oxygen from clouding your vision. Now I know that sounds really weird, but get this, I instantly turned it into something that no one but me found interesting. The idea evolved into a Metroidvania about a boy who lost something in the water, built a whole submarine, and chased after it. I don't even know what this something was. My best lead was a glowing rock. I got the submarine's movement working. I wanted to have a buoyancy system that was as realistic as possible but still fun to use, and I'm fairly proud of the results. I created some bubble columns to push the player around because it's an underwater game, duh. And then I began working on a fish that would move around in a semi-normal way. However, I'd spent every spare moment I had away from my desk developing the idea even further. My to-do list was getting larger and larger, and I created a map of the world, had a full upgrade system, and line of progression planned, with alternate routes through those upgrades. One day I took a look at my Trello board to find out that it was way bigger than I was comfortable with, and it would only explode even if I tried to cut back on scope. I couldn't bring myself to shrink a scope to a comfortable level, and I didn't think I could spend more than a month or 2 on a game. Not too many people I spoke to about the project sounded interested anyway, so I set it aside and planned on participating in the Brackeys Game Jam. Luckily, I worked almost 40 hours that week, on top of school, and I had another obligation that weekend, so that didn't happen. Wait, what's this note about? Read as sarcastically as possible. An infant should know that you're unhappy. Wonder what that is. Anyway, a little while later I created a new project in Unity and decided, let's start another project that I will definitely finish. My plan was an idea that I'd come up with when I first began learning Unity. A 2D platformer about a super soldier in a world where Nazis had taken over everything. So your last objective was to break into enemy bases and steal their various chunks of cobalt that were scattered around each level so they could be used to create an array of cobalt bombs to invoke mutually assured destruction. I decided I didn't want to continue with the project after about 2 weeks, But in that 2 weeks, I developed an amazing, at least by my standards, platformer player controller with all the fixings. Variable jump, coyote time, jump buffering, static fall speed, accelerate and decelerate times that felt amazing, and all of this was very adjustable, so I could alter the movement as I saw fit. And best of all, it was documented. Wait, what? It's going too smart. Pull the plug! Pull the plug! I threw together a track-like level with a timer and added a really nice camera script to complement the character controller. This prototype actually made it onto itch.io, link in the description. I got some playtesters and some feedback, and then I changed the game accordingly. After I gave up on the Nazi idea, I thought, what if we had 2 players on screen? And I instantly realized that I wanted to be crowded around a single keyboard with 3 of my friends either fighting each other in a fighting game or fighting each other in a co-op platformer. Since then, I've refactored both the player and camera controllers to work very nicely with up to 4 players. I ran through a test level with some friends, and the experience was subpar, but I saw a world of potential in it. And this is the project I'm working on now. I'll try to get a good demo on itch.io soon. I'm leaning towards a hectic co-op platformer. I'm drawing a lot of inspiration from Super Mario Bros. Wii, one of the first video games I played as a kid, so there's probably a bit of nostalgia in here. I vividly remember the chaos as I threw my brother in a pit while he was fighting over a Yoshi with my mom, and my dad running way ahead of us all. It was a blast, so we'll have to see how long this project survives. Anyway, let me know in the comments. Did any of these game ideas interest you? And would you play them if they were released as a finished product? Subscribe if you're into this sort of stuff, and definitely check out every single link in the description. Later, nerds.